Alrighty, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. So, today we're here. We're gonna be talking about episode 7 of the Netflix live action series. We've got a tall earthbender here, we've got Avatar Rico, and we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna talk about this episode and how it leads into episode 7, episode 8, the finale, and some of the differences between the animated series as well as just in the storyline in general. All
And
right.
I would like to mention before we move on, I want to apologize to the viewers that I will be moving back and forth because I'm experiencing some slight back pain. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
Health is wealth, man. Health is wealth. All
Health
right.
is wealth.
Health
All
is wealth.
right. So, the way that this episode opens up, it's got a pretty strong opening, if you ask me. It goes right into the assassination attempt of Zuko from Zhao. A tall earthbender. Lead us right into battle. What's going on? What's going on in your mind?
Okay, well, this entire episode reminds me of the Waterbending Master. We all know that Netflix is pulling from episode to episode, so it would seem that majority of it is the Northern Water Tribe, the Waterbending episode from the animated series. Now, um, for the past few episodes, we did discuss the lack of connection with the acting and the believability. In this particular episode, there was a lot of connection going on. As you all know, actors grow, people grow. They get better and better as time progresses, with their craft. So, with that being said, I really felt a connection between Lieutenant G, um, Uncle Iroh, and Zuko's on the ship in the beginning. They were very well connected. They were very believable. It was a nice opening. The score was just right. So I'm getting my feel. I'm starting to feel the vibrations of this episode versus some of the other episodes past. So it was a very good opening. So I enjoyed that portion. Anybody else want to add to that or anything after that?
You sense a
Rico.
little bit more of the loyalty from Lieutenant G,
Mhm.
and that kind of coincides what happened in the previous episode when he learned, oh, we were the 41st division. We were the ones that were gonna go out to get killed. Now, when he kind of learned that, oh, that it was technically Zuko saved that division, saved his men, they now start to have an appreciation for him more now going forward. So
Yeah, I definitely sense that loyalty also. And it kind of is a nice like tie-in, and it's a slightly unfortunate in the sense that it's bait. It was a bait tactic. They knew that Lieutenant G is very loyal. I guess to the point, unfortunately for Zuko, to a fault, where it kind of leads Zuko to take action based on what he's learned from Lieutenant G, which puts him in the position that was planned by. They predicted that this was going to happen, and
mhm.
so they use blasting jelly in the ships to blow Zuko up. Um, and it's kind of different when they use just the blasting jelly without the pirates that they do in the animated series. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, um, very interesting how they react to it. How Zhao also details his plans for the North, Avatar Rico, as it kind of goes into that whole plan scheme. What's going on in your mind?
Well, we see that Zhao revealed to Iroh his that he's planning to siege the north. Um, and he shows him a box from. He's like, I got this. It's a key. This is a key element. This object's a key thing that'll help us take over the northern tribe, which is something that was more. This is really a different new take on how he's gonna take out the north with this object that he has from the northern tribe. and it was not actually used or mentioned at all in the animated series. But we learned that for this version, for this adaptation, it'll be a big player. This object that he has, it'll be a big player when going into the finale. So that was a little bit different on that part. That was the only
Okay.
different thing we saw about that attack. Yeah, what's up?
If I may interject,
Yeah.
um, you're talking about that brown rectangle.
Yes.
Okay, that appeared to be some scriptures on how to defeat the water tribe. If you remember from the animated series,
The library.
the, thank you, the library and
Yes.
Wong Ting Shan's like that firebender who came here and destroyed everything, looking on how to defeat the water tribe. And it was Zhao. If you all recall, Zhao was the one who got into
Yes.
the um, the library, took what he needed, and destroyed the section on the Fire Nation, so they wouldn't get the information. So that the Team Avatar wouldn't get the information they need
Yeah.
to attack. And
Oh, I know we got that.
I don't see why that was omitted. I think that would have been like nobody knows what that. Nobody knew what that was, but us were like, because we know that animation. So again, fans of Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender, go back and watch the live action series so you can get some better understanding
The
to some of the things
animation.
I said live action again.
Yes, we did.
Okay, go back and watch the animation series so you all can take from that experience and connect the dots, because there's a lot of missing dots in the live action series. So
Yeah.
just wanted to kind of piggyback.
Yep.
Now that's a good point. So yeah, I think you're right. You wouldn't actually know what that box is unless you watch the animated series in its entirety. Because again, we don't meet Wang Chitong, I believe, until season 2. So
Well, like I said, because
yeah,
like you said, this is a different take.
yeah,
Yes, we know that we as fans, we know that Zhao somehow got information about the North, right? How, but how we don't he doesn't we don't really he doesn't really explain it. But the fact that he's got something from the Northern Water Tribe is that okay? He has this whatever's in that box, right? The thing is though, how, where, and how did he get that? I don't know.
mm-hmm.
But like I said, this is something different, a little bit tweaked from the animation series on because this is a different object, later revealed in the finale that was never used at all, let alone
Right,
mentioned in the animated series. So like I
Right.
said, this,
right.
this is a little bit of a tweak difference in that part.
Momo, I got a question for you.
Sure.
What do you think about the approach? Okay, it's raining and lightning. I don't know if y'all heard that. Did y'all
Yeah,
hear that?
I can hear the thunder.
Oh my God. Somebody's out there lightning bending. But anyway, what did you think about the
Perfect for this
approach
episode.
on the water tribe, the northern water tribe? How did you think the sequence looked, the CGI? How did that look to you? I mean, did it look believable? Was it constructed and similar to the animation series? What did you all think about that opening segment?
Okay, so I actually was not against it when it comes to like the design of the water tribe. I think it actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it
Yes.
was pretty accurate in terms of like not only just like you know the look and feel and the air it gives off. There's that ice wall. Game of Thrones fan. They've got that washers on the wall. Anyway, so it's like I think they did a pretty good job when it comes to the CGI of the waterbending itself. And these are high class waterbenders. So the waterbending we've seen, you can almost kind of like it might have been choppy and slow, but you could kind of, if you wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, it could be like, oh, this is more rogue. This is like, there's not a lot of we haven't seen expert waterbending at this stage. So this is where
Right.
you should see like this is top level bending and what it looks like. I feel
top
like,
tier.
yeah, and I feel like it was kind of faltering in that sense. Like, and we can get a little bit more into this. But I think overall, in terms of setting, kind of like Omashu, I think they got the
A little
look,
bit.
the feel
Yeah.
correct. You get this presence that you are in the water tribe and this is a water tribe stronghold. I got
Right,
that
right.
sense. What about you guys?
Yeah,
I
I
got the.
agree.
Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
agree. I even got the sense that it was really huge.
Yeah.
It is a big space,
Good,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
especially when, especially when they, especially with how big Appa is, and how little he is compared to the tribe to
Right.
to the north.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It worked well in that favor.
And I really love the look of Arnook and Paku. I gotta say that
Yes,
um, they were very,
it was spot on.
similar to the right to the live action characters.
It was very spot on.
The deliverance of their lines were very believable, and they seem to have did a much better job. I don't know if it's just because of the additional actors that was implemented into this particular episode, but with the talk, with the speaking parts and the music, I felt like there was a story unfolding.
Mm.
So I mean,
Because
they did a good job,
they
and
made me
Paco
seem
did
more
an
wiser.
excellent job of deliverance, and you could tell that he probably really studied that character from the animation series.
They
Mm-hmm.
made him he made him a lot more wiser in terms of tone.
Hmm. Hmm.
Speaking of Paku, what do you guys think about the interaction between Paku and Katara? Now they have
Okay.
an entire
Um,
arc. Let me real quick. They have an entire
Yeah,
arc, right?
yeah.
So they meet. Paku is like, Katara, you're great. You go learn waterbending from the healers, okay? Bye. And
Okay.
then she comes back and she's like, Avatar Rico, I'm pointing this way. Looks like
Okay.
you've got a lot to say about this, and then we're gonna follow up with you with Tyler Bender. But Avatar Rico, you go first.
Okay. We want to talk about the Paku Katara thing first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me bring out my notes.
oh
All right.
Lord.
Because I hey, I'm
Oh,
sorry for the 15-20 page script essay that I was putting in, but I was jotting down as I was as I was thinking. Now, what I thought the lot this adaptation has gotten right, even though it was done differently, was Katara's reasoning to go to the north. Her determination to want to find a master was still intact. Now, what made it different, but still gently well done, the difference in this bit is how the show approached her arc with Paku. Now, Paku may have acknowledged that she can bend water. Now, I'm talking about the live action in this case. Now, Paku, yes, he acknowledged that she can bend water, but indirectly rejected her by telling Katara to go seek Yagoda. When Katara thought Yagoda is a master at fighting, but only to reveal she is just a healer. And then that's how Katara learns that Paku will not teach girls how to fight, that girls who can waterbend in the north are only allowed to be heal are only allowed to use waterbending for healing. Side note, I actually like how the healing lesson was portrayed in this adaptation. I mean, sure, the water was not glowing in like in the animation, but realistically, it made sense, right? And I really like how they use the practice dummies were carved as if it was like tubing and piping to simulate how chi flows, how energy flows in the human body, and how everything is connected to how to do healing, right? I mean, just like you would in just like anybody who would study in the medical field, being a surgeon and such. Now, all right, back to the thing. Now, of so yeah, it was a different take on how Katara learned why she was not allowed to fight because she was a girl, as opposed to in the animation where Pagu bluntly says, "No, I'm not teaching you." You want to learn waterbending? Go to Yokoda, right?
Yeah, go back to the hut with the
Go
other
back to the
mermaids.
huts, whatever. Now,
LOL.
okay, now going to the climactic battle. To be honest, this is a. I'm sorry, anybody watching this, anybody who loved that sequence in the animation series, that where Katara really stood up to Paku and held her own, right? Earning the right to become a student of his. Uh yeah, the fight live action was weak. I'm sorry. It felt really weak. It felt like it felt more like a dance than it did an actual battle. Um because this is where I have to say, and I'm sorry to be honest with you guys about this, but it this is where translating from animation to live action did not work well. Yes, she was able to do the thing where she bends water in ice and then does the discs thing, and then Paku's like dodging them, and then he sees his reflection in one of them, or does the
Pull that off. Yeah,
or does
pull
the
that off.
whip, or does the whip when he turns his back to her, and then fine, you wanna learn how to fight, study closely moment. I mean, it felt weak. It felt weak. Visually, it felt weak, and there's a disconnect in this live action, right? There's a disconnect in that live action because there is no mention of Katara's necklace, originally Grand's betrothal necklace given to Paku. And it kind of disappointed me that they did not put that in the live action because that was the driving force. That was the reason for not only their connection to each other, but also the reason that, yeah, okay, she not only can fight, but that was my necklace that I've given to your grandmother, right? It's like, okay. And now it's like, oh, I get, you know what, you're right. I'll take you in as my student. They completely omitted that connection, and I'm like, dude, what the heck, man?
Yeah, if I may
I,
interject, like it's so interesting how the whole story arc with the necklace is pretty much omitted from the live action. That necklace plays a huge part in the animated series, not
did
only with her connection with herself and her past, and with
her
Paku,
history.
but even like with like June, for example, that's the necklace that they use to track the scent to
Yes.
get to where they need to go. You feel she's missing a part of herself when she's missing that necklace,
Hmm.
and how interconnected it is, and that whole entire arc is completely missing from the live action storyline. um
Right.
I, yeah, I do like feel like it was kind of almost a little rushed in a way, like when Katara goes to the waterbender healers, and then she's like, okay, this is great, so
What
how
can
to
we
fight
fight?
now. Yeah.
What can we spar? Like,
And so, and even Aang was like, maybe you should just stay home and just be a healer. Maybe you shouldn't. And I was kind of like, Aang. A taller
only,
than.
But
I
you,
only
but
connect to that
you know
too.
why he said that though, right?
I
Right, right.
you
The
know,
information
Aang.
he got from Karuk.
Well, the thing is
Yes.
this: we know Aang really did not like to say that because he probably felt that it was against his will. One being that when he communicated to Kuruk, like Tal mentioned, and secondly, he's a guest.
Mm,
He's a guest in the North, right? Just because he's the Avatar, he's still a guest. He has to fall. Wait, if you want to be a good guest, you got to be very respectful in in that house, right?
right.
So that was another take I saw on that bit right there.
Yeah. Kind of putting it all together, a tall earthbender. What are your thoughts on the Katara arc and kind of how it feeds into the Kuruk arc? Kuruk. Kuruk? Kuruk arc.
Yeah,
Well, that's the only reason why Aang gave that response is because of what the advice of Avatar Karuk. Karuk was basically just like in the animation series. He's heartbroken and he's devastated because of what happened to his wife or what have you. Um, you know, dealing with cold face stealing. So he's in the spirit world miserable. So you see in his body,
All the scars.
he said he wasn't able to do what Avatar Kyoshi did, which was help Aang out. Took the presence of his body and all the power all at once. Karuk said he wasn't able to do that, but I don't think Karuk was able to deliver sound advice because he was going strictly off of pain and suffering.
He's going
So he
through the
didn't give any
burden.
sound advice, in my opinion.
If I
But
inter
in addition to that, um, not to get off the subject, but the story for me, this particular episode showed the strength and growth and development of a story, because Sokka and Yue had good chemistry. Not,
yes,
forget about what happened with Suki. Okay,
yes.
Sokka's a bit of a player. He's always been a bit of a player. For those of you all who
I
watch the
said it before,
the
man. It
animation,
was a heart bender. Okay,
yeah, right.
when
But
I'm saying the
and they
PUA,
it was a different approach this time. They said that she broke it off, but in the animation,
I was gonna, yeah,
she was
I want to
supposed to
get to
marry
that
him,
bit. I want to get
but
to
she
that
was
bit.
holding herself, for the man of her dream, as she
Uh,
said. We
yeah, I
all
will.
know who that
I
was.
will get to
Obviously,
that
Sokka.
in a. Yeah, I'll get to that. I will touch
Yeah,
upon that
but
later on.
they had good chemistry.
Yes,
The fight battle between Paku and Katara, it was okay. It wasn't the best. The part that kind of was maybe in disbelief was the part when she slid across the ice in slow motion, and she wasn't moving in slow motion; she was moving fast, but it was slow. When she jumped in the air and did her thing, it was slow. When Paku jumped in the air, it was slow. When Paku delivered those ice darts, that was pretty fast. That whole sequence and any other battle sequence should be fast. I mean, you're not going to get the full taste of entertainment if the fighting sequences are not going the way they're supposed to go. Yeah,
and
okay, it's fine to do slow, like when you like when Rico said about the ice disc going past. Yeah, they did the same thing in the animation. Okay, that was perfect. But when you're fighting fast and it's supposed to appear fast, but we're seeing as an audience, we're seeing it is slow, then it takes the action out of the whole sequence.
as I said before, okay, this is where the challenge was. Okay, are you focusing on the martial arts primarily, or the element primarily?
When you say, okay, are you talking about Netflix or are you talking about the audience?
The audience, are you trying to focus on the element being manipulated, or are you focusing on the martial art, or are you doing both?
Both.
It's
Both.
tough to do both that way. Unlike karate,
No, it's not.
listen, man,
If
listen,
you're
man,
if you're lacking money, then of course it's going to be
dude,
difficult to
I'm just
incorporate
saying. It's
both,
unlike
Rico.
Cobra Kai, for instance. I'm getting a little off subject. Unlike Cobra Kai, there's no element that they're manipulating. It's just martial arts. Whereas in Avatar, you're doing both martial arts and bending and elements. So
Okay.
how
Well,
do you
Okay.
I would say, if I had to
like
interject, but I
it's
would say in terms of this,
Please, Momo.
in this instance, when it comes to between the martial arts and the bending, I feel that they cannot exist in isolation. You have to
no.
focus on both in this. Like, I know for either for Netflix or the audience, you want to focus on the martial arts and seeing how the martial arts and the bending moves kind of mirror back to the martial arts that they're
Yeah.
referencing to.
And
But
that's the
the
big
bending
challenge.
needs to be there. Like, if you're doing the martial arts of like earth bending and then this like tiny pebble comes up, it doesn't work, right? Or if you've got this, like, if you're just kind of all willy nilly and then bam, boulder, like
Well,
it
that's
doesn't
what I
work,
mean.
right?
How do
So,
Wait a
you
minute. Wait,
it's
wait, wait, wait.
trying to
Okay.
balance the two
Thank you,
out. You
Kim.
can't
Rico, hold on, Rico. Rico, let me ask you something. If Mike and Brian, the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender, had the perfect right backing, the producers, Disney, Universal, Warner Brothers, let's just say all of them rolled up into one blanket, was able to throw any amount of dollars, millions, surpassing the $15 million per episode what Netflix did for the series. And the right director, can the bending and the martial arts coexist at a believable sequence?
If you had the right people, then definitely. Hence,
Okay.
hence Kisu.
And it would be more entertaining, am I right?
Yes, hence
That's all I want to
hence
hear.
Kisu.
That's
Okay.
all I want to hear. Thank you.
All right. Now, let me go back into the whole thing with Kuruk. How how he was yelling at Aang. You know what? Every Avatar has been yelling at Aang, probably with. And I'm like, dude, cut the kid some slack. All right. But anyways, and get it based their experiences as during their reign. I felt with him meeting Kuruk, it was a direct reference to spoiler alert in the Shadow of Kyoshi novel. I felt that to be a direct reference of Kuruk explaining himself. Why is that? Because it was when it reminded me of the time where in that novel, Kyoshi learns from Avatar Yang Chen, Kuruk fixing Yang Chen's mistakes, battling those angry spirits,
Hmm.
right? Also leading to Ko stealing his wife's face. So yeah, that was the one thing I wanted to mention while you were talking about Kuruk in that bit.
Now,
If any of
what?
you read the Kyoshi books, you would know what I'm talking about, especially primarily in the second Kyoshi novel when Kyoshi finally connected with Yang Chen and why Yang Chen's like, didn't you talk to Kuruk? Didn't you connect with Kuruk? And
Yeah.
it was pretty much Yang Chen defending Kuruk in that bit.
That's true. One thing I wanted to also ask you, Avatar Rico, I know you had some thoughts that you wanted to share about Yue. You know, we meet Yue, we find out she's in fact the fox from the spirit world.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah. All right. I have a flaw with that.
What's that flaw?
I have a flaw. Okay. While watching that episode, when Sokka put the pieces together that Yue is the fox, all right, she mentions to him, I am. So it's like, yeah, so you're a spirit. I'm part spirit, mostly human. In
Hmm.
a way, I'm a bridge between the spirit world and the
Mhm.
real world.
Right.
Wait a second now. Here's a big flaw. The Avatar is supposed to be the only one that's the bridge between the spirit world and the real world. How is Yue that? How is Yue also a bridge?
You gotta ask the writers.
You
This
know,
is this
th-
is what really got me there. Okay, I'm like,
oh,
hold on, and why is she a waterbender? Like,
this really gets me asking, like, okay, so I remember seeing this and kind of thinking about what you're thinking, where this is a human who has spiritual capabilities. We learn
so
like later
Sylvia?
on in the series, both like with Korra, there are people on the earth who like have so like they're so strong within themselves and within their spirit that they are able to almost kind of transcend, like Zahir,
Yeah.
Iroh, ultimately.
Oh,
I mean, we even see Gyatso in the spirit world. Um, and I don't know if this was like an attempt to kind of like make
put her
that
in that same
bridge.
category?
Yeah, like
Like, I
create that bridge that people can also transcend between the spirit world and the the regular, you know, present world
yeah,
that they
I
in.
just
But and
it
maybe
felt a little bit
it
off.
explains the like the moon thing that we will see later on. I
I
don't know.
guess.
I thought it was
I
an attempt at that.
All right. Now let's see. Yeah, that was what really confused me on that end. I mean, I honestly completely forgot about how Ira was able to go in and Alza here too, but that means you don't need the app. But this is that was post Ang,
Yeah,
by the
this
way.
is we don't
This is
know this.
all that was post Ang's reign, right? But for Yue, because she was sick and then she was given life by the moon spirit, and she's got some of that essence in her. but then to become a waterbender, bending cream, or bending dessert and all that. To okay, I don't mind her being a priestess,
Hmm.
fine, right? And but to say that she is that bridge, she's a fox, and I'm like that really. What the heck was that, right? Like I said,
Yeah.
I found that to be very off on that end. Now, here's another thing that really bothered me, and this is not to put the whole sexist thing, right? But this is based off Northern Water Tribe customs, all right? For the sake of the tribe. And the women in that tribe do not have it easy, okay? The women are not allowed to fight. Female waterbenders are only allowed to be healers, okay? And of course, there's the betrothal thing, the arranged marriage thing. Okay, this is what I don't understand. Okay, uh, custom wise, it would be taboo for 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 an arranged marriage to not go go through. Okay, how is it that if they're not allowed to fight, but they're allowed to? Oh, I don't want to go through with it. Why? Because he's not the man of my dreams. I'm like, really? It kind of ruins the jealousy between Sokka and her arranged to be husband Han as it did in the animation. And
They're
I
trying
found
to
that
just speed it up, man.
and I
That's
just felt
all.
that to be very inconsistent with that whole. So tell me guys, what do you think on that part?
I mean, it's just like what they've been doing all along, Rico. They've just been omitting a lot of stuff, and if they're adding anything from the animation series, it's only a small percentage. And then
Hmm.
they put band-aids on it and add their own little spin to it.
It
Case
mhm,
in point, there's a flaw in what UA says to the Avatar. Or no, wait. No, yeah, she says to the Avatar because Aang had just got to talking to Karuk. And she
mhm,
said, "Well, Karuk was never around. We haven't seen him in a long time, or a lot of people have forgotten Karuk. Um, he wasn't around when there was a lot of trouble. But if you remember, um, in Sojan's comment, the old masters, I think it was, yeah, the old masters. Karuk said he was a flow. I'm gonna go with the flow avatar.
go with the
He
flow
said
out.
I was striving through a time where it was just peace and happiness. He said, and problems seems to have taken care of their own. They took care of their own problem, but it wasn't that much. He said it was a peaceful time. So that's another flaw. But again, this is just a prime example of how Netflix writers take to their own. They decide to implement whatever they want. They come up with new ideas to shorten episodes and speed up the story.
Yeah, but it was something that they should have can take into consideration. Oh, we
A
missed that.
lot of things they should have taken into consideration, but
Yeah, right.
that's not going to happen. When
Okay,
somebody
now
else takes control of your work, that's never going to happen.
yeah.
Just like
Now
M Night, we're not going to talk about that.
now I want to mention another thing too. The elders. The elders are somewhat disappointed with Aang when he arrived,
Hmm.
right? Because he's the avatar. They're disappointed in the avatar because he's only mastered one element,
Hmm.
which is airbending, and not any
Hmm.
of the other elements, let alone not mastering the avatar state, despite Aang being young. Now, here's the other thing too. The fact that he's like, I can use some training or blah blah. He's like, well then, oh, I guess they made him feel like, oh, I guess he's useless.
Right. Just
I
like
mean,
everybody else giving
what?
them crap.
I mean, dude, he's a kid. Yes, we get it. He's been gone for 100 years, but he's been hiding, and I understand that. But I guess are they that? Or is the Northern Tribe that closed off? They're not really update to. They're not really current with up to date events, which is another mentioned, which is a nod to that when Juan said, "Okay, are the Fire Nation soldiers have spikes on their thing?" And then Sokka's like, "No, no, that's not what they wear anymore in their armor. It's all leather." So that's him keeping them up to date on that. I mean, um, we know Aang's reason is different. We know Aang's reason for going to the north is a lot different now because rather than start his waterbending training, which he never gotten, he's trying to prevent the attack that's the inevitable attack
Mhm.
that Kiyoshi told him about. I mean, yeah, and it kind of the fact that he didn't get any waterbending training at all, it kind of was also a letdown there too. So
Kim, Momo, if you wanna add anything else before we, close out, I say that because we surpassed our 30-minute mark.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I think this is all very good conversation. I'm listening,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I agree with a lot of what has been said. I mean, like the reason why Aang went to the Water Tribe, even though he's wholeheartedly believes that he's unprepared, to the point where he goes to Avatar Kirk and he's like, "Hey, the Water Tribe's about to get attacked. Can you take over me, please?" And that's the whole conversation of where Kirk is like, "No, I can't do that. You're on your own,
And
and you need to leave. You need to
and
leave
and
now."
why couldn't he use another avatar? It didn't have
Right?
to be correct.
Exactly. They're all waterbenders anyway.
It is what it is.
So
it
it's
is
like
what it is,
you could
right? I
see,
mean,
yeah, and it's like he's not confident, but he's kind of like learning that it doesn't matter if he's confident or not. This is his job. He's here to do what he has to do, and you can kind of start to see some of that kind of seep through when he's like, you know, talking with Katara after Katara's kind of coming to him complaining like, Paku's not letting me bend. He's like, maybe it's good that you don't bend. Like, it's starting to really cloud his judgment and the way he's interacting with folks because it's really starting to set in that this is his responsibility. It's a bit of a darker take, with the way that he's taking on this responsibility in the live action, because in the animated series it's a lot more lighthearted. Everybody's willing to help him. They're not just dumping blame on him for being absent for 100 years and just being a kid, unlike the live action where they're like, this is your fault, you gotta do this no matter what. They're just wagging the finger at him and he's kind of just getting beat down. So it's not surprising to me that he's kind of like, well, yeah.
I would have left.
like
I would have
I would have
John.
been like, okay, guys,
Y'all talking
bye.
crazy? Y'all talking crazy? Come on, Appa, let's go.
Yeah,
Appa
we'll go
up.
back
Yep.
in the ice. We'll wait another
yep,
100
yep.
years.
Later. Just
But yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting, we end the episode with the fight with Paku. Everybody's like, wow, how did you do the ice discs? That was so cool. Paku's like, whatever. And then, that's when the soot comes in.
Wait. Say it again, Kim. Do the voice again, Kim. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, that was so cool. How did you do the ice discs? And Paku's like, yeah, whatever. And then,
Yep.
then the
The
soup
falling
comes.
of the soot.
Yeah,
falling
that's
of the soot.
and that's like, it's go time. This is the time that we need to rise up to the occasion and fight.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. I'm just gonna leave this here before we close out. But this is interesting because, like, now that I've watched it all again, you watch the history of like how the Fire Nation is willing to sacrifice troops, and we know what happens. And the reason of this attack on the north is that Zhao is a pawn and used as a distraction. Iroh calls it out. He's like, what makes you think that this is an impenetrable defense? What makes you think you're different? And Zhao's like, destiny. And it's like,
So annoying.
And I've been promoted, right?
Watching this again, yeah, it's like he
The
doesn't
entitlement.
know. He's so full of himself that he
Yes.
doesn't
He's so
know.
annoying.
Yeah.
Him and Iroh on that ship. He's talking about something. Oh my God. You watch and see. We're going to get whoever did this to Zuko. He's our prince. He was like, Iroh said, I know who did it. He was like, you do? He's like, yeah, it's my brother Ozai.
And he's like,
he was like,
yes.
yeah. I'm like, no. Oh, move on to the next thing.
But like,
All right, y'all, come on, 'cause my back is killing me.
yeah, basically, Zhao is the 41st Division in this instance, but he doesn't know it.
yes.
He's too full of himself. So,
He's clouded.
yeah.
Definitely clouded.
So that was interesting. Anyway, we're gonna close it out here. We're gonna come back for our next episode, for the last and final episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series, episode 8, going into the fight. the end of the water book, the book 1, water. This is it. This is how it culminates. Like, we've got a discussion planned for y'all, and I hope you can join us. Like, I think this is going to be a good one. It's going to tie everything together, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what we expect to see next. Anyway.
And I give this episode
Oh,
a 7.5 on the Avatar Origins Richter scale.
yes. Yeah, I think a
Right?
7.5
Yep,
is
it's a
accurate.
thing. It's a thing now.
I'll give it a 6.
So
Okay.
I think 7.5 is pretty accurate. I don't think it was the best in terms of like bending and stuff, but
Yeah.
some interesting elements that did stay true to the animated series. Anyway.
Yeah, with a lot of omissions that really caused the disconnect. But yeah, okay.
All right, y'all ready for this?
Yep.
I
Alrighty.
can't do
Hey.
that right now.
Oh, all right, we'll do it
Oh,
for you.
do it for you.
I've been
Avatar
holding on to this chair for like 30 minutes, like hold on to this.
Origins. We out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace out, y'all.
Well, man.